Hi, welcome to British English Hub. I'm Paul. Today I'm going to talk to you about a common mistake amongst English language speakers and English language learners. This is a common mistake that transcends all levels. It is to do with the passive. Now, when you go to an English class, for example, and your teacher is teaching the passive form, one thing you've got to bear in mind is that it doesn't necessarily signify that you are writing better sentences than active ones. The passive is used only in specific instances. Don't get caught up in writing passives continuously because it's jarring. There's a lack of flow in your writing. So I'm going to teach you the best way to implement the passive structures to make your writing better and come across a little bit more professional and fluid. And that's the aim of today's session. Good writers switch between active and passive, and I'm going to explain you why that is. Natural English is a combination of both. And when we write naturally, we kind of incorporate the passive structure and also the active. And it's a myth, an urban myth, when anyone says to you passive sentences are better than active sentences. It really depends on the context. So I'm going to show you what I mean. So, just a quick reminder of what the passive is. The passive is verb to be plus past participle. The past participle is the third form of the verb. So if you have, for instance, the verb break, to break something, the past tense would be I broke it. I broke it yesterday or last week, or it was broken. Broken is the past participle, the third form. So here's an example. She was taken to G Ward. So was being past simple verb to be, taken, take, took, taken, past participle. And it's a kind of basically a very common structure, very prevalent in English language. And an active sentence would be down below, subject, agent, which is not always but sometimes a person, plus verb. So in this instance, I'm using a person, the nurse, which is the agent, took him to G Ward. Now, in English, the emphasis lies in the subject part of the sentence. So if we want to really focus on something specific, we tend to start the sentence with that particular noun or agent. So the emphasis lies with that. And that's the essential ingredient of writing well-crafted sentences. So this is a common mistake from most students, well, the grand majority of students that are, of different levels. So they would say, for instance, the police arrest the subject, the police question the subject, the police charge the subject, and the police took him to court. It's repetitive, it's boring, it doesn't flow, it's contrived. Everything begins with the police. It sounds really bland and repetitive. So avoid doing this at all costs. So let me show you now. Here we go. What is the reader supposed to focus on? It depends on whether the sentence is active or passive, but you can change, and that will really benefit your writing in so many ways. So, focus on the person doing the action, which is the active sentence. So, what we call the agent. The police arrested a suspect. The police are important. And again, focus on the person receiving the action. So the difference between passive and active is with the active, you focus on the person actually carrying out the action that's responsible for the action. And the passive is the person receiving the action. So it's kind of beyond their control, if you like. So the suspect was arrested by the police. You can include if you want. Now the suspect becomes the topic. Very, very simple. So this is not really about using passive and active or looking at how they're constructed, the sentences. We're looking at how to use passive and active sentences alternatively so that the writing flows. So good writers switch. So instead of here's your kind of active structure, the police arrested a suspect, they questioned him, they charged him, they took him to court. All fine. Grammatically, absolutely fine, but it's jarring, it's repetitive, it's boring, it's staccato. You need to change it. So here's a really, really interesting alternative. The police arrested a subject. That's an active sentence. Then we shift to passive. He was questioned for 3 hours. We don't have to mention by the police because we already know that. We've established that in the first part of the sentence. So again, the emphasis lies on suspect here. He was later charged with robbery. Again, the emphasis lies with suspect. And then we're going back to the active sentence. The judge refused bail. You can also say he was refused bail, but again, we're talking about changing between active and passive sentences to make the sentences a little bit more flowing. Here's another example here. So we've mentioned scientists who developed a vaccine, could be the COVID vaccine. They tested it, they published the results. Doctors welcomed the discovery. So we changed from scientists to doctors as an agent, for example, but again, it's problematic, it's jarring. So this is a better alternative paragraph. Scientists developed a vaccine, that's active. It was tested, meaning the vaccine was tested, so we're going to shift the emphasis to the vaccine. It was tested on thousands of volunteers. The results were published last month. Talk about the vaccine again as a point of reference, and doctors welcomed the discovery. Go back to active. And again, same thing here with company. Company designed a new phone. So you've got the two topics in one sentence, the subject and the object. And I'm staying with the company as the main focus. The company manufactured the phones, the company released the phone, and customers loved it. So again, keeping with active, it's jarring, it's repetitive. Moving on to kind of alternating between passive and active here. The company designed a new phone. It was manufactured in Korea, meaning the phone. It was released in June, again referring to the phone. Customers loved it. So the topic is far more flowing now and a little bit nicer to read. So secret, should I use active? No. Should I use passive? No. Use both. And what should the reader focus on next? It depends on your style of writing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you've learned something new. Please subscribe to the channel. It helps us a million. And please smash a like below. And also write a comment if need be. We take your feedback very seriously. It helps us create better content for the future. Anyway, stay tuned. See you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.